It all started when I moved in with my mom in Georgia, and I lost all 3 of my boys because my mom's house wasn't adequate. There were stipulations. My kids couldn't be around her boyfriend. She didn't want to get rid of her boyfriend.
Sometimes the original thing that brought them to us, we find other things that, we have to assist with.
I got into a bad relationship with my oldest son's dad, and he was abusive. And then I left him, and I ended up getting together with my ex-husband, who is the father of my daughter and my youngest son. He was even worse.
And it was a little bit of like a domestic violence situation, and she just had a hard time breaking free.
Like, he literally beat me, like slammed me up against the wall, choked me, and all in the midst while I was pregnant with Miracle. Almost killed her.
I think that, every parent, definitely loves their children, but, there are some things that happen with them or that they may be dealing with internally that causes them to, make those bad decisions.
And often these women have nothing to go to or turn to, so a lot of times women stay because of survival.
My 2 oldest went with their dad, and my youngest got adopted out because he has stage 4 kidney disease. I couldn't care for his medical needs correctly.
You have to have a license to drive. You even have to have a license to serve liquor, but you don't get any training whatsoever to be a parent. That child is delivered from the hospital, and the mother and the father are sent home with a child and have absolutely no clue about what they're doing most of the time.
Growing up, my mom was in and out of jail, so I didn't really see her much growing up. I grew up without my dad. My dad was in prison. He just got out when I was 22. When I was in my teenage years, about 14 or 15, I was on my own, basically going from house to house to house.
I think, a lot of times we put so much focus on the children, and we have to realize that advocating for the parent is also advocating for the child.
I don't think that they make the decisions, I want to be a bad parent. I think they're doing the best they can with what they have.
When the little girl was born, Miracle, the judge did not allow us to add that child to the TPR petition. So we was going through, an adoption with her son. I didn't really understand why the judge didn't allow, that child to be added to the petition. But, new child, new sets of circumstances, you have to look at it kind of where she was at that moment.
I knew I was never going to see my son again, so I had to at least fight for my daughter.
Parental rights are sacred. The state has to have an extreme reason or an extraordinary reason to actually terminate or break that child-parent bond.
Kids, ultimately, they want to be connected to their family. They might be 2 years old or 3 years old, but you can't think about the right now all the time. You have to think for the rest of their lives. When they're 17, are they going to want to know their cousin or their mom or their brother or sister or auntie? And they usually do.
I had caseworkers in the past, and they just labeled me a bad mom. They didn't want to help me at all. But then, I don't know, just like when I got, when I got, Kelsey and Imani, it just changed. Like, they were just amazing. Like, they actually wanted to give me my daughter back. Like, they actually wanted to help.
The need here was really just the support. She did all the work herself, ×2, and it was just honestly just support and advocating for her and being her cheerleader.
For 3 years, she visited at DFAC. She rode a bike to visits. She, kept a job, some type of job, She had to build a family unit, support systems.
I have to say, I put it more on Mom and the department than anyone else, because she had a case plan and she decided she was going to work it, and she worked that case plan.
Sometimes I just wanted to give up and be like, okay, just let her go, because it was just so hard. But then I would just think, okay, I can't let her go. She's my baby. I came this far, I can still keep going.
Because Mom was such a fighter, and because she was so willing to just persevere through everything, we had no choice but to kind of rally behind her. And that's what it's about, because if we counted her out the first time, the second time, or even now the third time, this outcome could have been different.
We're not talking about cases, we're talking about people. Like, you can't just judge off of what they did in the past, because if we did that, then we wouldn't have any reunification stories.
It definitely took teamwork, but you have to give the majority of the credit to the mother, because if she wouldn't have done all those things that were requested of her, then she would not have been successful.
I've learned how strong I really am. That's what I've learned. That you can just, it just takes so much, but you can just do it. It's hard, but just keep going.
I mean, she really beat all the odds against her, and I think that's very inspiring. And I think her daughter will grow up to see that, and it's such a great example and motivation and inspiration for her.
The day I found out I was getting my daughter back was an emotional, very, very emotional day. I was literally jumping for joy. It was like the happiest day of my life. Like the epic battle was over.
Everybody was giving such glowing remarks on Mom and what she had done and that relationship and that bond. And when the judge gave Mom custody, I mean, we were all in tears, because I was just like, oh my God, this finally happened.
And, I remember the look on Mom's face and tears. And, it was very touching.
That I love that little girl with all my heart. And I'm glad that I didn't give up on her.
That case is what juvenile court is about, why we're here. We are here to reunify families.
I don't know how to ever thank them. You tell Kelsey thank you. Thank you. Thank you.